Get Sweaty with Leddy, a wellness program about pain management. Quick belly rub. Oh yeah, there you go. That is classic. Come on, buddy. You gotta go. See you later, Axel. Have a good one, yeah. Hello and welcome to the final episode of Get Sweaty with Leddy in 2025. I've got an exciting guest today, one whom I met at an event put on by previous guest Harvey Martin at Minnesota MASH down in Savage. We're going to be sitting on the bench here today talking to the Minnesota Gopher baseball coach, Ty McDevitt. So let's hop inside the Excelsior sauna, sit on the bench, and hear Ty's story. Here we are. It's December 22nd. We're so close to Christmas. I had to rock my back channel jingle bar, little sweater here in the spirit of Christmas. And I'm excited to sit on the bench with my guest here today, Ty McDevitt. We actually met at an event from a previous guest on Get Sweaty with Leddy, Harvey Martin's little thing that he did at Minnesota MASH earlier this summer, which was a great time. Sauna, connection, breathwork, sound healing, everything that you could ask for when it comes to getting your mind and body right. And Ty and I struck up a conversation as I was just kind of talking about my book and why I'm there. And it became apparent that we needed to sit down together and hear Ty's story, because I think it could impact a lot of people out there. So Ty, what brings you into pain?
Well, I think that question is, I know that question is definitely answered differently now than it would have been 5 years ago. So just kind of a brief outline of my story. And again, we talked about it a little bit at Harvey's event. But been a high-level athlete my whole life, transitioned into the coaching after I was done playing college baseball. Really liked pain. Really enjoyed the controlled aspects of pain, whether it was mental and emotional pain and being able to see the benefits of that on the other side, or it was physical pain in terms of the most grueling workout that you could possibly do to push your body to its limits. So for many years, I thought of pain as a really good thing, a really beneficial thing, something that I really ran towards a lot of times. Then almost 5 years ago now, I started to have a variety of different just odd symptoms that popped up, starting with some kind of dizziness, some autonomic issues. Those transitioned into a whole range of other issues, from waking up with night sweats to brain fog, severe migraines and light sensitivity. I can go down the list because there's quite a significant list of symptoms that I experienced. And some of them still do, but basically entered this realm of pain where I just couldn't get away from it. And again, there was a lot of physical pain, but it was emotional pain as well. That again, it's always hard to see what caused the other. But it's funny, I went from many years of being proud of how high my pain threshold was and searching out that pain via exercise and performance into the last 5 years. My journey has led to trying to find ways to get rid of that pain and to finally let my body calm down the way that it's meant to.
Wow. Now I like how you kind of just started that, how you enjoyed pain, right? You get good feedback from it. It means kind of you were working hard, you pushed yourself, and now you just need to get over that little hump. And I can relate to that because pain was part of my identity for such a long time, and it still is, but I'm moving away from it being that, the main version of me that I used to see myself as. And I love being sore. I've kind of maybe categorized pain a little bit differently. Sure. As I've grown into who I am now. And I feel like I'm better for having all the pain that I experienced, physical and mental, and I just totally relate to that. So I'm glad that you said that you had this relationship with pain and enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And not many people can say that.
No. And yeah, I was proud of it. I could push harder, go faster, do more than most people around me, and that was sort of my barometer for success. It's quite the dichotomy now as you look back on it, because how much of that was necessary training for the place that I am today and the place that I've been the last 5 years, and how much of it was maybe me pushing my body past the limits, and was a cause for many of the things. And I think we've got a shared friend in Harvey. Harvey's done a tremendous job with me being able to find different ways to appreciate where I'm at now.
Yeah.
Especially the days where you can get sorry for yourself, and leveraging all of the different techniques that he's such an expert in, and being able to frame up where we are right now as not a good or a bad, but exactly where we need to be, and trying to utilize that most effectively.
Right. So when you said you're growing up being a high-level athlete,
Mm-hmm.
Obviously baseball, was there another sport or two that you gravitated towards?
Yep, I played baseball, hockey, and football all the way through high school. Yep.
Nice.
And then transitioned to college baseball.
Was there one sport that gave you more joy from your pain?
I would say that I was kind of the typical, like, I liked whatever was in season.
Yeah.
With football maybe ranking lowest on that list. I like playing. I was never a great football practicer. I think that's maybe one of the things that you find with multi-sport athletes is you get, and now again I'm looking at this from a recruiting standpoint based off of my current job, but people are pretty good at playing when they play 3 sports. It's a lot of games, a lot of repetitions, a lot of competitive volume. It's a little bit harder to get good at practicing when you're in that environment. So for me, football was always that thing where it's like, man, we get to play 1 day a week, that's it. And looking back on it, I wish I would have challenged a younger self to make those practice days a little bit more competitive and try to find ways to gamify those environments rather than just reluctantly going through the motions, which is probably what I ended up doing. So anyways, yes, I played 3 sports, enjoyed all 3 sports. Didn't necessarily have a favorite until maybe later on in my high school career when I found out that baseball was going to be my ticket to the next level.
Where did you end up playing college baseball at?
I played at the University of Minnesota.
Cool.
Yeah, I went there out of high school. The years always slipped me, like we were talking about beforehand. But I've never left. So I went there, I played. Wasn't the best pitcher that you've ever seen, but I contributed, found ways to not be the best, and still be a contributor on the team, whether that was helping out with my teammates, whether that was challenging them in the weight room or different areas to make them better versions of themselves, and really enjoyed that process. And then shortly after I was done, I was hired as an assistant coach, first as a volunteer, then as a paid, ran the pitchers, and then a couple years ago I was hired as the head coach. And so went to the University of Minnesota, had no intention of staying there past my 4 years, and never left.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah.
I can understand why. I mean, I went to the U as well. I love the campus. I mean, love the area, and they excel in all sports. And what a great place. So I'm glad that you are now representing the baseball team.
That's good.
So did you have any injuries, like physically, growing up in high school or even in college that may have started to change your relationship with pain?
Yeah, I mean, we can go. I feel like I'm doing an intake form now, because those always take me a little longer than the average person. So yeah, I did. I had a lot of stuff. I've had both my hips redone, and one of the causes for that was hockey, apparently, and then pitching added on top of it. So over the span of 4 or 5 years, I had both my hips redone. And then that created apparently more pressure on some of my core muscles. So I had the whole bilateral sports hernias, athletic pubalgia. I've got mesh from wall to wall, basically. So that was one kind of version of Pain Central. Speaking of football, I've had my thumb reconstructed after hitting that on a helmet, throwing a pass over the middle. So I had that dealt with. I've got pins and screws and whatnot in there. And then I had the infamous Tommy John surgery when I was in college. So when you talk about surgeries, those are probably the main areas that I've dealt with, but certainly not, certainly not adverse to some injuries.
For sure. So then, I mean, it's like you're on the trajectory of, you are a high-level athlete and you're still trying to pursue high-level athletes or high-level athletics. So having surgeries like that is going to be the natural trajectory, right? I mean, you need to play, you need to fix yourself. You don't necessarily have time to heal like the average person might have that opportunity to maybe find an alternative to avoid that surgery. So, I mean, I can relate. I've had 3 ACL surgeries, and it was when doctors told me I needed to fuse multiple vertebrae on top of the vertebrae that already fused naturally from breaking my back, was when I was like, no, not gonna do this anymore. Was there ever a point, or are you at a point now where, you know, if you come up with an injury, like what's gonna be your first move?
Well, that's a good question. I think because of my entire worldview has changed, I would definitely look for as many alternatives to getting cut as I possibly could. That's vague. If I were to get into a car crash and need somebody to repair my femur, I'm not going to try to rub some essential oils on that one. That being said, and there is stuff that comes up. I've got neck issues. I got back issues. I think as anybody who's, again, performed at a high level, pushed myself the way that I have, in addition to some of the other stuff that I've dealt with, there's always stuff that if you go looking for it, you could probably find something that needs to be repaired. I'm a big believer in trying to manage as much as I possibly can, and my own terrain as well as I possibly can, starting with the gut. What am I putting into my body? You know, all of that type of stuff before I'm looking at going to sleep and letting somebody cut me.
Yeah, no, totally. That's very timely because I just had the functional nutritionist for the San Jose Sharks on.
Oh, great.
Christina Jacks, and we were talking all about gut.
They've got a functional nutritionist.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
good for them. Cool.
Talking about gut health and inflammation and how, I mean, a lot of your problems can start by just the crap that you're putting into your body, you know? So it's so important to just stay on top of those things from a simplistic standpoint.
Yeah, yeah. And that's an area, you know, going to what I do coaching-wise, it's been an area that we've seen lots of gain from just being able to describe some of those experiences to my guys, underscore the importance of what we're putting into our bodies, when we're putting it into our bodies, how much we're putting it into our bodies. And we've got a full nutrition staff that works diligently on making sure that our guys are taken care of at the highest level, that they understand basic sports nutrition, that they have all of the supplementation that they need, but then digging deeper and giving guys, you know, our players a little bit more of a refined protocol for how to maximize the vessels that they are.
Yeah. Oh, no, that's awesome. Yeah. Glad you guys are putting that emphasis on that, because it's 100% necessary. It's what separates the elite from the wannabe elites.
Mm-hmm. Certainly can be, yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Well, I want to kind of get to the main little point here of having you on this program, but we got to get this fire going a little bit more here and really crank up, get the tarps off, get ourselves primed for a plunge.
Sounds like a plan.
So I'm going to throw some logs in this fire here, and we'll sit back on here in a moment.
Looking forward to it.
Here now, it's getting piping hot. That hole is looking a little more friendly now that we're starting to sweat. I had to clean off all the little black fuzzies on me. That was a new shirt that I was wearing, and I didn't think about the sweat to new cotton aspect, but you know, I think I scraped it all off.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I'm feeling good. So Ty, when we first met, you started telling me about your unfortunate situation with Lyme disease. Can you please tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I've got my oldest daughter. She was born, she's 4.5, so about 5 years ago now. And basically, upon her birth, just started feeling off. At that time, like I said, I was grinding pretty hard in work, stressful time.
You're probably just a new coach too, so it's
new
like
coach.
you
It was
wanna
post COVID. There's just a lot of stuff going on now, and now we've got this new kid in the world, and won't go into all the details, but basically just started feeling off. Saw a handful of different doctors, starting with some primary care specialists, and then that transitioned into some more specialists. And basically the best they could do is like, hey, you're anxious, you're depressed, you've got these new changes that are happening in your world. All of your symptoms can be attributed to those factors. So for a while I was like, yeah, I must just be crazy and anxious and all of that stuff. So I sort of bought into it, and then did a lot of work, and luckily I had some background in anti-anxiety type measures, the breathing, the meditation, focusing on diet and quality sleep, and all that stuff. And quite frankly, stuff got worse, just continued to spiral out of control. So I ended up going to a functional neurologist because my balance was one of the areas that was impacting me the most. I went to him, and he's like, let's try some potentially, this could be potentially a reactivated concussion, because I've got a history of concussions. And did the whole program for a couple weeks, and it was like, man, it's just not getting better, and it should be. So he had me tested for the whole tick-borne gamut, Lyme disease being one of the things, that this whole cocktail of things, a tick, a mosquito, a spider, you can get it from a lot of different things that they found now.
Yeah.
So it tested me for all that, and came back with basically an entire mosaic of infections. Everybody talks about Lyme disease, but really Lyme disease is just, like I said, kind of one factor of this whole compromised immune system, and all of these different microbes that are able to take over your body. So all that being said, I did stuff the only way that I knew how to, and I started Googling every possible way that I could to kill Lyme disease as fast as I possibly could, because I figured, hey, if some's good, more's better, and that's always been my philosophy.
Right.
So I went to a doctor and got all of the antibiotics, and then I found a book online that was all of the herbals for how to kill Lyme as fast as you possibly can, and then I found another thing. So I decided that taking all of that stuff at one time was the best way to get this crap out of my body as fast as I could and back on to, with my life. That was not a good idea. I'll tell you that much. I essentially, and again, it's probably the wrong medical term, but I became septic. I had so much die off so fast that my body couldn't keep up. My liver couldn't keep up. And it put me in a hole, pretty significantly, pretty fast. I ended up having to take some time off of work. I went down to a clinic in Florida that specialized in detox. So I had a port put in me, and I spent 6 months down there basically just on a variety of different, vitamin IV drips, some pretty high potency antibiotics, IV antibiotics. I was doing glutathione drips all night, every night, that were self-administered. It was a wild time, and that got me back to baseline eventually, and to a place where I could manage my illness, where I could work the way that I wanted to work, to be the type of dad and the type of husband that I wanted to and needed to be. But yeah, that's basically been the journey, and ever since then I've been making slow progress, which, now that I understand biotoxin illness, that's the type of progress that you want to make, is slow, gradual, incremental progress. There's not really such a thing as a cure-all, and although that's unfortunate, it's let me manage my expectations a little bit better, and be better off about seeing some of the small wins along the way.
Wow. So that's probably where a lot of the emotional pain
Sure.
that you were talking about early in the episode really came from, right? Because it's just the frustration of you're doing everything that you think is supposed to work, and then some, because you're motivated, and all of a sudden it just takes you backwards, and that is just a demoralizing thing that can then all of a sudden you're adding depression onto the fact that you're not moving forward, and you don't understand why you're dizzy and why things just aren't working properly. Mm-hmm. That's, man,
Yeah.
That's where physical pain can lead to mental pain.
No doubt.
And vice versa, in a sense, where mental pain can lead to physical pain because maybe you're just not active. Your body is atrophying because you're just stuck in a rut, and then you start feeling pain. It probably just manifests in
It does. It's a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
Yeah. No doubt.
Wow. Was there an absolute low point during this multi-year process of discovery to recovery?
Yeah, clearly the low point was, at this point, I don't remember how many years ago it was, but it was somewhere, I would say, middle of the journey when I had done so much to basically push myself over the edge, trying to get rid of this thing as fast as I possibly could, against all, practitioners' recommendations. Nobody was there cheering me on, saying like, oh, take all the antibiotics and all of the herbals and, do this and do that. So it was all kind of self-induced. But I got to a spot where I was not functional. I don't remember, we're here in December. I don't remember a December, a Christmas, other than a few kind of vague memories. I was down and out. We had moved out of our house into an apartment because we suspected mold might be a culprit. And obviously that's an additional stressor on the body. We lived in an apartment not far from here, and I have very little recollection of that time of my life. And at that point, like I said, we kind of said, hey, let's go to Florida. We've got some family down there. We've got a place to stay. Maybe the sunshine, maybe the beach. Maybe that'll just go, kind of slowly push me back into the spot that I need to be in. And I got down there and I could hardly talk. I could hardly walk. I was on a different planet with so much neurological inflammation. Out of necessity, we found a clinic down there. It wasn't like we flew to Florida to find this specialty clinic. Out of necessity, I wasn't coming back until I found somebody to get me back to a better spot. So, there was a lot we found out in that first week at the clinic. They did all the blood tests. They did, all the urine tests. They were figuring out all the different issues that I had going on. And I had, one of the things that I do remember vividly was the doctor saying, your white blood cell count is so low, it's almost non-existent. And I had some marker, I still don't know exactly what it was, that really they only find in AIDS patients.
Whoa.
So my immune system was clearly just so shut down, and I was in such a bad place that in addition to needing to get rid of a lot of the bad bugs, I also needed to detox my body significantly.
Wow. I can relate to trying to do all of what you know and think can help you all at the same time. And I was doing that a bit last year when I hurt my knee playing hockey. So it's like this time last year I was doing this, I started this podcast. I'm talking about pain and healing. Meanwhile, I'm dealing with this horrible knee injury where I'm almost on the cusp of thinking I need to get my knee replaced. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to see all of the people in my circle of pain, I like to say, and trying to do all this stuff at home. But it was almost like there was too many cooks in the kitchen at that time. And if you're doing too many things at once, even if it's a good thing, too many good things can lead to bad results. And you need just that time to let one sink in or get that proper feedback from one. So I guess, the message I'm trying to get at here for everybody is you got to have patience when you're not feeling good. And as hard as that can be to want to feel good instantly, you need to be patient. You need to give your body time to react to what you're doing so that you can get proper feedback so you can make an informed decision going forward. And it can happen to the best of us. I consider myself a pain management expert, but even last year I got to the point where I was probably slowing down my progress because I was trying to do too much in too short of a time period.
Well, and I think it also really underscores the importance of having good people around you.
Yeah.
So that when you get into those situations, having people who aren't feeling the pain physically, mentally, emotionally, to help counsel you and make sure that you're making good decisions surrounding your experience and your journey. Because I know at my bottom, thank God I have the wife that I have, and she cares about me like she cares about me, and she's got the expertise that she does. Because if I was left to fend for myself, not only would have I been doing outrageous things, but sequentially it would have been all messed up. I didn't have the capacity I was too emotional. I was too invested. It was too close to me to make good decisions. So having her be able to run quarterback on that was a huge thing for it.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, the power of a good companion.
Yeah.
Right?
Of a good team. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll give a shout out to my wife, Melissa, in here, who's been a great companion throughout all of this. She met me when I was going through my first round of herniated disc pain. And I mean, I didn't want to travel. I didn't want to fly. I didn't want to do any of that because it would just trigger this whole thought process of, oh my God, I'm going to be jostling around in this plane. I'm going to be in horrible pain. Like, I don't want to do that. I would rather not do that. And she endured all of this with me to the point where when I finally got ready to move on and really do the right things, and by doing the right things, I'm talking about changing my diet, watching what I'm putting into my body from, alcohol standpoint. That can be hard being a brewery owner. I got access to all this beer, but I can't have it all the time. It's not good. It's just like sweets or candy. You can't have that every single day if you're going to be operating at top form. So I had to find balance throughout my life and find all the right things that are going to work. So yeah, that's why we're sitting here today, right? Trying to provide this roadmap for people to figure out things that could work for them.
You got it.
So what would you say to somebody that's maybe suffering from Lyme disease or, feeling lost in the pain mentally or physically that they're enduring?
Yeah. I actually get asked this quite often, as you can probably imagine, because I've become a resource for people who are going through, have been through things like this, whether it's for themselves or for their loved ones. And I wish I was more articulate and had a better kind of boxed up answer to give to people. But the reality is it is so individualized. Everybody responds differently, and Lyme has this uncanny ability to attack us where we've got our kind of weakest spots. Mm-hmm. So for some people that's bad knees and poor tissue quality, and it likes to go feed on that. For some people who have a concussion history like myself, it can be your brain. Now I have no science to back that up. Maybe somebody does somewhere, but you talk to people who live in the community that I live in, and that's a very real thing. So embodying it as your own journey and trying to figure out how you're going to be your own detective and unwind that ball of yarn of yourself and not latching onto somebody else's journey and trying to make it your own. That's where you need to start. And that's the scariest place to be, because we all want a recipe. We all want a roadmap. We all want to see somebody who has persevered and gotten past something and be able to use their expertise, their wisdom to help them out. And there's absolutely a time and a place for that. But I think first you have to take on that journey as your own.
Yeah, no, that's well said. And, so it's basically like Lyme disease is just going to hit you at your most vulnerable point. And you can be sad and not do anything about it and just wallow in pain, or you can recognize, hey, I should probably strengthen that part of my body, whether it's...
Yeah, or my psyche.
Or the psyche, yeah. Because, I mean, I've had a ton of concussions in my life as well. So I would be terrified but I've also had joint things. It's like what's Lyme disease going to do to me, right?
Exactly.
That's terrifying to think of, but you don't need to wait to react to something. You can be healthy right now, and you can be proactive in your approach to your own self. So maybe one day when you do get bit by a tick, unfortunately, maybe you would have more bandwidth to handle that. Your body can be stronger. It's like going into surgery and performing prehab beforehand, not just rehab afterwards. You're reacting to that, but when you're doing it on the pre side of it, you're being proactive. And that's just, our whole society is so reactive to things as opposed to doing the work to be proactive. And I think that's just kind of where it starts a lot.
Definitely, yeah.
Nice. Well, how are you feeling about a cold plunge?
I'm in on it, man.
You ready
for
this?
Yeah.
You sweating?
I am. I'm
Dripping?
there. Yeah.
You got a nice little puddle down there.
I got a little lather going.
Good work. All right, well, the sun is shining. The water is freezing, and we're about to go and plunge in.
Let's go do it.
All right.
big time. Just be careful climbing in and out. This is our first ice plunge of the new season. Last couple times at Lake Ann we had open water, but now we got straight winter and a little bit of icy film over the top. Yep.
How deep is she?
It's like only like 4 feet, or probably even like 3.5 feet. So. Oh yeah. I got my sandals on to protect my toe from the incident from last winter or last March. Oh, but we got a nice sandy bottom to go into right here. Oh yeah. Oh, that's been a while. I like that you just go hands in like that. I always go hands out to try to stay a little longer, but the sand is nice.
Sand is good.
It's acting as a little bit of an insulator because the feet and the hands get so cold. I'm gonna go right in there with you now.
Going down?
Why? You wanna go down? Wanna go down?
I'll go down.
Oh yeah.
That'll shorten your time in here quick.
Yeah, get in the head.
Yeah.
Nothing like sitting in a 2 by 4 foot hole.
Yeah, we're getting cozy. We're getting to know each other a little better
we
here.
are. Do you have a little like reader on your watch, or
I do, yeah.
For like you getting information on the body or anything, or is it just a regular
Oh
watch?
no, I've got 2 wearables that I don't really use. So, yeah, it's great. One of them is the Apple Watch that I just use for time, basically.
Yeah.
The other one, the Whoop Band, I use a little bit more, but yeah, the EMF freaks out there tell me not to.
I'm familiar with EMF too. Apparently, I'm very susceptible to EMF, and every body type is different to that.
Yeah,
so
I've been told I'm the same way.
Oh damn.
Yep.
I should introduce you to my nephew's agent, Neil Sheehy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, EMF it's like a hidden or a invisible kryptonite.
It's that, and now apparently these LED lights are trying to kill us.
Yeah.
All right, I'm looking at 41 degrees. It's definitely not warm.
Nice. Not warm at all.
Yeah.
Well, should we call it?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right.
All right.
Careful on the ice out of here.
Say getting out of here.
Yeah, go on the rubber mat. Oh yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah. That feels nice. I can't wait to go in the sauna.
You do get to go right back in the sauna.
Yeah, I'm not gonna hold you to staying out for X amount of time to get the full benefit of the plunge. We're just getting full benefit of the convenience of the sauna location. All right, how you feeling after that?
That was good. Felt good.
I know you said this was like your first time in heat in a while, so I got to imagine that's probably your first time in cold in a while too.
Yeah, it has been. I haven't had a chance to do this for a while. It's awesome.
Yeah. I've got all the right tingles. I'm glad that you called out the head dunk. That's always a nice little treat.
Yeah, good way to wake you
A
up.
little cherry on top of the plunge sundae.
Yeah.
Ty, it's been great having you on. I'm really glad that we got to sit on the bench and get to know each other a little bit more and chat about all things pain. Is there anything that, are there some parting words that you can think of, or just...
No, I think we've covered a lot of ground here. I guess the only thing that I would say is, like we're doing now. I think when you have pain, like we've talked about, whether it's a physical or an emotional or a mental pain, really being able to build a good team to go to battle with. That's always a good place to start. And then just diving in and getting after it and trying to find ways that work for you individually is going to be your best way out.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's well said. Well, if you're out there, make sure you watch Gopher baseball.
this spring and summer. Are you excited about the team this year?
Yeah, we get a good group. We get a really good group, and they've been fun to work with so far. So looking forward to getting rolling here. Not that long away.
No, it's really not that far away at all.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to catch a game, and hope all of you do the same. Until next time, we're in the sauna. We'll see you then. Cheers.